Welcome back to the channel. All right, so we're going to continue our conversation today from where we stopped. In the last class, we stopped at these, at this point where we created our very first script. All right, so if I do cat first script, this is basically what the first script did for us. So here we specify that we wanted to make a directory. Okay, so mkdir-p, and then we saw that the directory was created with, all of the other directories that we wanted. And here we also said, touch file 1 to 10. So basically we wanted to create file 1.txt to 10, right? Now here we said everything that starts with file should be copied into the sharing directory. Okay, so we also saw that happen as well. And then we said remove file 10. And so here, if I do my ls, I can see that file 1, all right, to 9 is what I have here, because, the command here says remove file 10. Is that okay? But if I come here and I go into the sharing directory, I can see that inside of the sharing directory, I have from my file 1, all right, up to my file 10, because the copy command executed before, all right, the remove command. Okay, so in the last video, we began to see the purpose of shell scripting and how we can use it to, all right, execute certain commands. And also we talked about, command substitution and things, all right, like that. So I'm going to clear my screen here and I'm going to do, all right, some other examples for us. So let's call the second example. So let's call that the second, all right, script. And so let's, just play with some things here. So here, of course, like I told us, every script will begin with your, the hash symbol, the exclamation, and then you have your /bin/bash, right? So every shell script must start with that. Because, your shell script is still going to be executed using the bash interpreter at the end of the day. And so when you run your script, basically what you're saying is that this script should be executed using the bash interpreter. That is basically what you're saying. So for every shell script that you see, it must begin with the line hash, exclamation, /bin, and /bash. So here, let's do some, some echo command. So I'm going to say echo. All right, so we're going to say echo welcome, put a $sign and then say user. Now, basically, what we are trying to do here is to basically, all right, what we want to achieve is basically to call what you call a system variable. Now, you can define variables yourself, as we've seen in the past, all right, but there are system variables that you can actually call. You can actually use some system variables. Is that okay? Now, so here, I'm going to say welcome user. No, welcome user is going to return the username, which is Ubuntu. That's what to return. All right, so I can say welcome user, and I can say on, let's say, host name. All right, so it's going to return my host name. So my host name is, my IP address in this case, because I'm using an EC2 instance. So it's going to return to me, all right, my IP address. Is that all right? Now, so what else do I want to do? So let's add some beautifications here, all right? Just, to make our shell script beautiful. Now, one thing that you must pay attention to, because, there's something that I just missed now, all right? Now, when you're using the echo command, right, whatever thing that you want to pass in your echo command, because, your echo command is just basically going to repeat, all right, whatever it is that you give to it, okay? Now, your echo command will start with, all right, 2 inverted commas, right, double quote there, okay? Now, you must open it and close, all right, with the double quote. So here, it must be something like this, and then you have whatever it is you want to put in between the double quotes, okay? Now, if you look at what I have here, I said welcome, but I didn't close the quote on the other end, right? And then it's going to return an error. So I need to do what? I need to close the quote. Is that okay? So here we want to add some beautifications, all right, to our script. All right, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to just go like this, just to use some hash symbol. All right, put it there. It's just for beautification, nothing more. And then I'm going to come here and then I'm going to put in some commands. So I'm going to say free RAM, all right, free RAM equals. Now we talked about command substitution earlier, all right, and we said there are two ways by which you can substitute commands in Linux. So you can use the backtick or you can use the dollar, okay? So let's use the dollar here. So dollar, open your bracket, and then I'm going to say, all right, free -m, the pipe symbol, and then I want to grep. Now, what am I grepping? I'm grepping the mem, right? Now, we saw these already in practice, right? That you can actually, use grep command to filter information, all right, from, the output of another command, which means the output of free-m is going to serve as input for grep mem. So if grep mem is going to receive that input, what are we looking for in that output, right? So grep mem is basically going to look at the input, which is the output of the free-m, and then it's going to give us the line that contains mem. And of course, what are we looking for? Basically, the total memory, the used memory, and the free memory, and some other information. Okay? Now, to take this a step further, I can pipe it again and say that the output of the grep mem, I want it to serve as input for another command. Okay, so and that command is the awk command, AWK. Now, what do I want to use this awk command to do? Now, in Linux, when you type in a command and it gives you an output, the result is usually, all right, in form of rows and columns. So basically, the result of most of the commands, well, let me not say every command, but most of the commands in Linux, the result is always displayed, all right, in table format, which is rows and column. All right. So basically, now I am interested in the free RAM. All right. I'm interested, just seeing what is left for me. What is the available RAM that I have? That is basically what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in the total RAM. I'm not interested in what has been used. I'm interested in what is available, all right, that is still not consumed just yet. So the awk command can help me to slice the output of the grep mem further and give me that information. Now remember, I said it is in what? Rows and column. Now let us save here. All right, let's save at this point. I'm going to save. And let's look at the output of the free m. Okay, free-m. Now here, this is one, all right, this is rows and columns. So this can be maybe like column 1 or row 1, all right, 2, and then you have 3, all right, you have 4. So what I'm interested in is this 4th row, all right, which is the free row. That's what I'm interested in. And this value is what I want to get. Okay, I'm not interested in any other thing. I'm interested in this value. And this value is in what? Is in the 4th row. Okay, so and that is exactly what we are interested in, right? So let's go back and continue our edit. All right, so I'm going to say awk, and then when you're using your awk command, you use it alongside, all right, certain parameters, right? As you must know by now, every command in Linux has what? Arguments that you can use with them. So there are commands you can use that stand alone. There are commands that you have to use arguments with, okay? So you need to understand that by now. I mean, if you have not watched the previous videos, I really encourage you to take advantage and watch those videos so that you can understand, what we mean by options and argument, okay, when it comes to commands in Linux. So this command will accept this argument. So you have your inverted comma here, okay, and then you're going to put a curly brace, and then you're going to say print. So what are we printing? We're printing, all right, the value of the 4th row inside of this command. So free-m is the command. It's going to generate for us, all right, information about our RAM. Grep mem is going to take that information and give us the line that contains just mem. Awk is going to take the information from grep mem and going to give us, all right, the 4th row, all right, in that information, which is basically the free RAM that is available, all right, for us. So I'm going to close this, put my inverted comma here, and then close the bracket. So that is command substitution right there. Now, the next thing I want to also do is I also want to check, all right, my hard drive. So I'm going to say root dir, all right, equals. Now I can use the $ again, or I can also use the backtick. So I can use the backtick here and say it like this. All right, so what am I looking for? I'm looking for df-h. Okay, I'm going to grab that. So what am I looking for exactly? So I'm looking for any line, all right, that says dev/root, and then I'll close that. Now, let's save this. Let's exit out, and let's see what we're looking for. So this is exactly what I'm looking for, dev/root, all right? So, and here, if you also look at it here, the file system, all right, this is more like maybe the column on the row. Sometimes I mix these things up, okay? So here I have the file system. So these are the file systems, all right? This is the size, this is used, this is available, all right? This is the percentage used. But what I'm interested in is also the available. And that is also in what? In the fourth column or the fourth row, all right? So that is also here. So this is the value that I'm interested in, okay, that I actually want to check. If I'm interested in this, that'll be the fifth row, right? So let's go back and let's continue our edit. So here, I'm going to come back here, all right? So now you may be wondering, why are we, okay, this is not even, right, so we need to put /dev/root. Now you may be wondering, why are we putting, invalid comma, dev/root, why is it between two inverted commas, right? Why is it between the two? Now that is because we're using special characters here, right? We're using the slash, okay? We're using the /. So we need to treat that as, as is, right? So if you don't put that, it's going to interpret it in another light, okay? So basically we're telling grep that this is what we're looking for, okay? So grep is going to grab that information from the output of the df-h, okay? And so again, we're going to pipe that and we're going to say awk. All right, remember, we're looking at information in the fourth what? In the fourth row. Okay, so we're going to say print, and then we say $4. All right, close that, put it here, and then, all right, oops, your backtick. All right, so you close that with what? With the backtick. So we've used the two command substitution methods, so using the dollar and using the backtick. Now, basically, what we have done here is just command substitution. And this information, we want to print it out on the screen. Okay, so that, anybody that wants to run the script, maybe you run the script every day or something like that, you can just, run the script anytime you resume, and then you can get information about your free RAM, about what is available, all right, in terms of your root volume. Is that okay? So here, I'm going to say echo, all right, and then we'll say available, all right, free RAM is what? Is $free RAM. Okay, and then we can put MB here just to, at least give us, maybe like 500 something MB at the end of it. Okay, and then here we're going to say, we can put some beautifications here as well. All right, so that, that information can be displayed like this. Okay, so this is just some demo, all right, or, some kind of, giving us some, some beautifications right there. So here I'm going to say free root partition size is $, and then root dir, right? That's my variable, and then you close that as well. Now, this is a shell script that would, all right, give us the free RAM that we have available and, all right, the free root partition size. Okay, so let's save. Let's exit. So you know what to do, chmod +X and then second script. So you have to make the script executable, okay? So let's execute the script and let's see if we got it right. So you press enter and there you go, you have the information. So welcome Ubuntu on web server. So here you can see welcome Ubuntu, all right, on web server. Now, and then you see available free RAM is what? 554 MB. The free root partition size is 5.2 gig. All right, do you see that? Now, you may be wondering, how did I get this web server? How did I change the name? Because if you're logging in using Amazon EC2, the name here is usually, something like IP hyphen, and then the IP address, the private IP, and then you have the name. Now, you can actually edit your host name. This is what is called the host name, and this is what is called the username. So here we have welcome. Basically, we used $user, which is Ubuntu, and then we said $hostname, and then that is the web server. So if you want to edit your hostname, you can actually just do sudo, all right, you can say nano, all right, /etc/hostname. Okay, and there you go, you have your host name right there. So here you can change it to whatever name you want, all right, it can be web server, you can say, let's say web server 01, all right, 01 for example, all right, and then you can save that, you can exit out. Now it doesn't automatically, all right, apply, but you have to come here again and say host name web server, all right, 01. Okay, now again, it may not apply immediately. So let's do sudo su to log in as the root user. But you can see that immediately we did sudo su and log in as the root user. All right, we have web server 01. Okay, so now let's exit, all right, out of the root. But you can see that it's still showing web server. So sometimes it might take a while, but you can just do something very quick. You can exit and then you can log in back. All right, so no way, it's just a way to refresh. All right, so now you can see we have Ubuntu at web server, all right, 01. So now if I run my script again, all right, the second script, if I run it again, then it should pick up, all right, the new hostname, which is web server 01, right? So if I come here and I say second script, all right, now you can see that it picked up the new name. So welcome Ubuntu on web server 01. So you see, I didn't have to go into the script to modify anything because I am referencing a system variable. All right. So it is not a variable that I defined. It's a variable that, of course, is part of the system. So it's a system variable. It's not a user defined variable. Okay. So user defined variables are the variables that you define yourself. You configure those variables yourself. Right, but these are system variables, okay, which you can reference, all right, on the terminal in your batch script, and of course, it's still going to work and give you the results you expect. All right, now let's quickly do something. You know, when you're running a shell script, right, of course, sometimes you won't have to come every time to the terminal like this and run it. Okay, so there's what you, all right, in Linux that can help you to execute your script, very often, more like a scheduler. Is that okay? So you can use that. So the cron tab, if you come here, you can say cron tab. All right, you can also check the help to see what are the options or arguments that you can use with the cron tab. All right, so these are the different arguments you can use, all right, with your cron tab. But we're going to be going with, -e, which is edit users, all right, cron tab, because the cron tab we want to use should affect the Ubuntu user. Is that okay? So that's what we want to do. So now let's see how we can do this. So ls once again to see what we have. Now, one thing I want us to do is that now this script, anytime I run this script, of course, it's going to generate for me second script, right? Now, anytime I run the script, it's going to generate for me a value, right? It's going to generate for me an output. So basically, when you run the cron tab, when you run the, the scheduler, right? The cron tab, now it means that this script is going to be, once the script is executed by the cron tab, it's going to produce an output. So we want the output to be stored somewhere so that anytime maybe there's something we want to troubleshoot, we can actually go into the file and then go and see, okay, if it was, executed, right? Or when it was executed and things like that. Okay, so we want to check that information. So we don't just want to assume that the cron tab is executing the script, but we want to keep more like a record. Okay, so every time the script is executed, we want the output to be stored somewhere where we can go and view later. Okay, so one thing I want us to do quickly is to edit the script. All right, and let's just add these, date command here. All right, date. So I'm just going to put that here. Okay, so that at least we can see the date. So if we executed this time, we can see the date and the time. Okay, so save that, exit that. So now I told us that the output should be stored somewhere. Okay, so now in the temp folder, I'm going to create a file. So I'm going to call that file touch. All right, temp, and then let's say script log. Okay, so that's the name of the file. All right, good. Now let us open the cron tab and let us create this job. Okay, so cron tab -e, you press enter, you scroll all the way down. All right, now the cron tab is basically All right, there are about 5 or different, schedule that you can have. There are 5 schedules. So which means your cron tab can run maybe every minute, all right, every hour, and then it can be day of the month. Okay, it can be so day of the month will basically mean every day of the month. Okay, and then here will be month. All right, basically every month. So if you want your script to be running every month, that is it. This one will be every day of the week. So that means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every day of the week. So what we're just going to do for the sake of our own practice is we're just going to say asterisk. All right, asterisk, 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 asterisk. So it means I want this script to run every second. All right, so that is what this means. I want the script to run every seconds. So now, where's the location of my script? That's the next thing. So my script is located in my home directory, which I can signify, all right, using the tilde, all right, the tilde symbol. Okay, so my script is in the home directory, and then I'll say slash, all right, the name of my script. So second, you must make sure that the name of your script is correct. All right, so I'll say second script. Now, how do I send the output of this script to that my temp folder? How do I do that? I'll basically use a redirection in Linux. All right, a redirection. So in Linux, the greater than sign is for redirection, which means the output of this command on my left, I want to redirect it, all right, to this location on the right. Is that okay? So I'll redirect it, and I'll say redirect it to temp/script log. Remember, script log is a file. It's not a directory. It's a file that can, all right, take that, output. Okay. So save that, and then you say exit. Is that all right? Now, if I do cat, all right, /tmp/script log, now I should see the output of my script, right? Okay, so perhaps it's still coming up. So let's wait a bit and see. Let's wait for that. Let's see. Script log. So we're not seeing anything. So let's see what's going on. Okay. Well, that might take a while. So let's just do ls/tmp. Okay, so script log is definitely there. Okay, so that's it here. Script log is definitely there. The file is there actually. And name of our script is what? Is second script, right? So let's check that again and see. Cat. Let's do the cat again. Oh, now there you have it. Okay, so that means it just took maybe a while, right? So there you have it. So cat tmp script log. So we can see the output of our script, and we can see the date right here. So if I run that again, okay, I can see it, right? So you can see that information. So it's going to be running around every other second, okay? So I can see the information right here. So let's run it again and let's see. Okay, so we're still seeing the same information. So I want us to see that it actually changes because, it's supposed to be updated. Okay, so let's check again. All right, so it's supposed to be executing every second, right? Like every time. That's the asterisk that we did. So if you just give it some time and then do that again, okay, so this number should change. That's the reason why I put the date, so that we can see, all right, how this script changes, okay, with time. Is that all right? So here we have 1852.01. So, and that's exactly what we have, 1852.01, 1852.01. So let's refresh and see. Okay, look at that. So we have 1853.01. So that means this is running every minute, right? Every other minute, every minute, every minute. The script is running, right? So 1853.01 now. But one thing I need to let you know is that, it is actually overwriting the previous output, which means this other information is actually gone, and this is the new information. So by the time it's another minute, what I will find is what? 1854.01. So I won't see all the other outputs that was generated, right? I won't see it. So what can I do? We can actually correct that, all right, by going back to the cron tab. All right, so let's go back to the cron tab. Now, instead of putting in just one greater than sign, we're going to make it 2. So making it 2 basically means that I don't want to overwrite, all right, the content of this file. which means just keep appending, do not overwrite. That's what it means. So the first greater than sign will do what? Will overwrite. All right, as it puts in new information, the older information will be deleted, the new information will be available. As new information gets into the file, the older one will be deleted, and then the new one will be available. But with the double greater than sign, what it means is that just keep appending, just keep adding, right? Just keep updating. Do not delete, all right, already, the information that is already inside of the file. Okay, so let's save this and let's exit out. Okay, so let's refresh again. All right, so now we have 1854. Okay, so that's what is there now. So if you refresh again, it's still going to be 1854. So let's just wait a little while. All right, let's wait a little while for this to, all right, come up so that we can see, all right, what is at work. So I'm going to just pause my recording at this point, and then by the time the thing, is updated and we can see, all right, all the information without any kind of, one overwriting the other, then I'm just going to resume the recording. So let me pause now and I'll resume once it's done. All right, guys. So now look at that. So now I refreshed my script. Okay, I ran it again. And now look at what I have. So here I have this one, 1854. And then this one, I have 1855. And this one, I have 1856. So you can see that with a double greater than sign, it is no longer overwriting the content of the file. It is now what? Appending to it. It is adding to it. Okay, so you can see all of the outputs. So, and basically that's what the cron job does. The cron job is just a scheduler. So you schedule based on all those, days of the week, days of the month, month of the year, and all of that. And then it basically just runs your script based on the schedule that you've set. So now you can see the information. So if I refresh again, all right, if 1 minute has passed, then I should see 1856. But right now it's not 1 minute yet, so I'm still going to be saying 1856. Right, if 1 minute has passed, then the next one should be what? All right, so look at that. Is what? 1857. So you can see that it's no longer deleting, it's basically just adding to it. Okay, so that is basically what the double greater than sign will do for us. Okay, now let's take a look at another example. All right, so for example, I want let's say I want my user to supply an input, right? I want to run a script and then I want my user to supply, all right, maybe an input or something. Now, one thing you must understand is that when you're writing a shell script or when you're running a shell script, your shell script is not supposed to be interactive, all right? It shouldn't be interactive. I mean, basically when you run a script, most times you may not even be there, all right? You just want the thing to run and then you probably get your results somewhere, okay? But your script should normally not be interactive. Is that okay? But let's just practice, all right, something. So let's create a third script, okay? So nano, third script. So here, of course, the first thing first, bin bash, okay? And then here, I'm going to say echo, enter your skills, all right? And then I'm going to use the keyword read, okay? And then I'll say skill or skills. Now, the skill, all right, skills that I have here is referred to as a variable. So whatever it is, now this read is basically an input command. So it will allow your users to input something. So it's going to give them a prompt and then they can enter something. So whatever it is they enter, all right, at the prompt will be stored into this variable skills. Is that okay? Will be stored into what? This variable skills. Now I can come here, all right, and say echo, all right, I'll say echo your skills. So I'm saying dollar, and then skills are valuable in today's job market. Okay, so I'll save that, exit out. Of course, we have to do a chmod plus X, all right, and then we do third script. Okay, so now if I execute the third script, what will I have? So enter your skill. So you can see that it gave me a prompt. So waiting for what? For input. So I can say DevOps, I can say cloud. All right. So let's leave it at that. So now it basically got the input that I entered and then supplied that because I referenced that variable. Okay. So basically the value that I supplied in is what I have right now. So your skills, DevOps cloud are valuable in today's job market. All right. So that is how you can use the read, okay, to basically allow your user to interact with your script. All right. So let's take one more. Now, in shell scripting, there is also the concept of conditionals. All right. You want to make certain decisions. All right. You want to make a decision. So there's what you call conditionals. All right. In shell scripting. All right. Now, conditionals are basically your if-else statement or your if-else command. So if this is true, then this should happen. Else, then this is it. All right. So, for example, somebody that wants to maybe, of course, if you want to travel, let's say you want to travel to any country, right? Maybe to Kenya, to US, to UK, whatever it is you want to go to. The condition is that you must have a valid visa and you must have a valid passport. Now, if you don't meet all those conditions, of course, there's no way you can travel, all right, out of your home country. Okay? So in Linux, the if conditional is also used to help us make decisions. All right, we use the if condition to what? To make decision. So if this is true, then this should happen. Else, then this other thing should happen. So let's do that and let's see what we. So that will be script. Okay. So English. Okay. And then here, I'm going to use the read command now. So I'm not going to say echo, right? I'm just going to use read-p. All right. So of course, you know that by now you should know that every command has different arguments you can use with them, right? So read-p, because I don't want to use echo to say, oh, enter something. I just want to use the read to give me a prompt that will allow my user to input something. At the same time, I want to use my read command to also display an information, all right, so that they can know exactly what they should input. Okay, so I can say read-p, enter a number. All right, so I'll say here, all right, I'll just put a column and then close it here, and then I'll put a variable here, like this. Now, read-p will display the name, and of course, it will expect an input from the user. So the num that I have here is what? A variable. So whatever it is my user enters will go into what? Into the num variable, which I'll reference later on, right? So now I'll say if, all right, so pay attention to the separations here. So if num, all right, is greater than, is greater than. So greater than is -gt, so that's greater than. So if I want to say greater than equal to, or greater or equal to, so I can say GE, which is greater than equal to. All right, if I want to say less than, I can say LT, so that is less than. All right, so LE will be less than equal. Okay, so here we'll say greater than, all right, 100. So if the number entered is greater than 100, okay, so what should happen? So we're going to say then, oh, sorry, pardon me. So then what? So now in shell scripting, let me say this. In shell scripting, indentation is not mandatory. In shell scripting, you can indent, and if you decide you can also not indent. It's not a mandatory thing, right? Because there are some programming languages like Python, like YAML, that are very big on indentation. Okay, but when it comes to shell scripting, indentation is not a mandatory, not a mandatory thing. So which means all your command can actually be on the same line, and it will still be executed. Okay, so here I'm going to say echo. All right, the number. So I'm going to say number, and then you reference the number the person entered. All right, the number you have entered is greater than 100. Okay, so basically you're telling the person, oh wow, the number you've entered is what? Is greater than 100. Is that okay? Now, when you are using a conditional, you must close, all right, there has to be a closing, command, or a closing statement or something like that. All right. So here we have the if. Okay. Now, if you leave it as is, the script is not going to execute properly. Because I mean, this is a block of code right here, and it has to be closed. Okay, so just like sometimes you have these curly braces, right? Now, if you open it and you don't close it, whatever it is that you have in between it is not going to work. So what you do is you open, and then sometimes you come here and you close. So whatever it is that you have between will be executed. So to see them as what? As one thing, and then it will execute it. So that's the same thing that also happens, all right, with our if conditional. So here, if you want to close an if conditional statement in shell scripting, use what? Use fi, all right, to close the statement. Is that okay? So let's save, exit, and then we do chmod plus x for script, and then let's execute that. Okay, so enter a number. So if I enter number 10, it's not going to return anything, because I mean, number 10 is less than 100, right? And I don't have any else block. You get that? There's no else. It's just if, which means if it is not true, then there's nothing else, right? I don't have any else block. So if I run it again and I put in 100, all right, I mean, it's not going to execute as well. It's just going to return empty, because in the condition, what we specified is greater than, not greater than equal. It is what? Greater than. So 100 is not greater than 100. It is equal to 100. So of course, we're going to return empty, right? But now if I run it again and I say 101, right, it will tell me the number 101 you have entered is greater than 100. Okay, so we can edit that script and put else block. So let's edit it and then put else here. So I'm going to say else. Okay, so else echo. So we say the number, if I reference your number variable, the number you have entered is less, all right, is less than, all right, is less or equal to 100. Okay, so the number you have entered is what? Is less or equal to 100. So that's why you're not getting the thing. All right, so now let's run it again. So number 100. Now the else block is what is executing. So the number 100 you have entered is less or equal to 100. Now, initially when we didn't have the else block, what did we get? We didn't get anything, but now there's an else block. So if the if block is not going to be executed, then the else block, all right, will be executed. Is that okay? So that is, what you have. So if block and then the else block. So if the if block is not true, okay, then the else block may be executed. But if the if block is true, then it just stays there, executes the command, and then it doesn't bother to go to the else block. Is that okay? All right. Now, there's something quickly that I want to show us, because we're going to need it when we get to our shell scripting project. Okay, we're going to need it. It's something that we need to learn. Now, in Linux, all right, as part of making your decisions, right, there are commands that you can use that can help you to make that decision as well, apart from the if-else block. Now, for example, if I type like this, all right, enter. Now, it says command not found, okay? Now, if I do echo, all right, echo $, and then question mark, and then I press enter. Now, what do I have here? 127, right? Now here, if I do ls, right, and then I say echo $, and then question mark, what do I have? I have 0. Now, what this is telling me is that the first echo command that I ran, right, the command before it, okay, did not execute successfully. So what we have is what is 127. So that means the previous command did not run successfully. But when we run a command, all right, that gave us, all right, a successful output, we have what? We have 0. Is that okay? We have what? We have 0. So that is basically to tell us, all right, that this echo, all right, $question mark, we can use it to, all right, make some decisions, and then you can use that to decide if a script should run or not. Because, I mean, you're going to find yourself in a multi-OS environment, all right? For some of us, we work in a multi-OS environment, right? So maybe in your organization, you have Ubuntu, where you use Ubuntu for something, and then you have maybe the Red CentOS, Fedora, all right? You use them for some other thing. Now, on these two operating systems, you want to run, all right, the same script. Now, it's not going to be efficient to have script for Ubuntu and then script for CentOS separately. Now, you can actually have a single script that can be used to execute commands, all right, on either Ubuntu or the CentOS machine, right? And how you can do that is by using this echo dollar right here. Because, I mean, this can help you to determine if these should run. So, for example, now, if I can put it here, I can do something like this to say if, all right? So I can say if, maybe, let's say, I can say if this, okay, is equal to 0, okay? So if this is equal to 0, right, I can say then, all right, execute certain things, okay? So which means if the previous command is equal to 0, so for example, let's even put it completely. So I can say do something like this, okay? So that's the previous command. I will now say if, all right, this $this is equal, all right, to 0, all right, then execute some. So that means this command in my batch script is going to run first. And so this if is going to check the condition. So this command, did it return 0 or did it return 127? So if it returns 0, it means that the command below the if will what? Will run. But if it returned 127, it means that the else block is going to be what? Executed. So this is something you can use to make decision when you're dealing with multi-OS, which means there are certain commands that if you run on Ubuntu, it's not going to work. But if you run it on CentOS, it's going to work. So you can use the echo dollar question mark to, all right, make that distinction. So we're going to be looking at that, all right, in our shell scripting. Of course, we're still going to do some other hands-on, okay? But I think we should stop here for today. All right, we can take a look at all the scripts that we've run. If you check the description, the GitHub link is right there. Okay, you can click there and then you'll find all of the scripts. So you can also take them, practice with them. And if you have any questions, all right, put it in the comment section and then we'll try our best to answer you. Okay, so thank you so much and I'll see you in the next video.